Hello, students. I hope you all are fine. Today, we are going to start a new chapter, Lost Spring, from the book Flamingo. The name of the chapter is Lost Spring. And you know that what spring is all about? Yes, spring is actually a season when you will find lush green vegetation all around. It is a season when you will see plants growing. It is a season when you will see flowers blooming. It is a season when you will see birds chirping, cool wind blowing. So, in nutshell, the spring season is actually the season of happiness and enjoyment for nature. And here, the spring has been used as a metaphor for childhood. Fine? Right from the time when we are born till the time we are child. Fine? What we are doing? We are enjoying our life. Every child has a hope for the new beginning. Every child has a hope for bright future. Every child enjoy his life without the fear of terror and pressure. Fine? Like spring season, phase of childhood is all about energy. It's all about positivity. It's all about enjoyment. It's all about fun. Apart from that, childhood is also about education. Childhood is also about learning new skills. Fine? Now let's talk about the title of that chapter, Lost Spring. When we say lost spring, it doesn't mean that we have lost the spring season. Fine? The author means to say that the children have lost their childhood. Now, who are those children who have lost their childhood? These are the kids who are living under poverty. Fine? They have lost their childhood. So, the time when they actually have to enjoy their life, the time when they have to celebrate, during that time they are actually working as a laborer. They are actually working to earn their bread and butter. The chapter Lost Spring, written by Anees Jung, is actually an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, where actually she has thrown light on the life of the kids who are living under poverty. And the two main characters of this chapter are Sahib Alam and Mukesh, who actually don't live their childhood since they have to carry the burden of poverty and illiteracy. Now let's talk about the author of this chapter. Fine? As it has already been told to you, the author of this chapter is Anees Jung. Fine? So Anees Jung, born in 1964, she is actually an Indian author and journalist. She was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood in Hyderabad. She had her studies in Hyderabad and higher studies in the United States of America. She has written down many famous books like Unveiling India in 1987, which is actually a travelogue, a travel diary, which talks about the interviews of women. Fine. Apart from that, she has written Seven Sisters in 1994. Fine. Breaking the Silence, written by her in 1997, it includes the women's life all around the world. Now, let's talk about the theme of the first story. The first story talks about the life of rag pickers, and the name of the story is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. Clear? In this story, she actually talks about the life of rag pickers who have migrated from Dhaka, fine, to settle in Simapuri. They have migrated from Dhaka because of storms and floods, fine, with the hope that they will have a good life in Simapuri near Delhi. But they had nothing to do apart from rag picking. Fine. The garbage was their only source of survival. Clear? Now, the garbage has a different meaning for the kids and a different meaning for the elders. Clear? The garbage was source of wonder for the kids, while for the elders it was source of survival. And every now and then when these kids used to go to the garbage, they used to find a coin or so, fine, to sell off in the market. Apart from that, they used to find something which is of any value to them, like a paper boat, like a broken pencil. Clear? These kids have a lot of desires and ambitions, but they actually don't have any clue how they're going to fulfill those wishes, how they're going to fulfill those desires and ambitions. Because, why? Because they were poor. They don't have the resources to fulfill those dreams. those ambitions. They may be having the wish to have new shoes. They may be having the wish to wear new clothes. But where to get those shoes and clothes? From money. And they don't have the money. So that's actually the theme of this story. Now let's talk about the story. The story begins with a slight introduction of people living in the Simapuri. These are the people who have actually migrated from Dhaka because of floods and storms, with the hope that they will find a good living in Simapuri. But what they are doing? They are actually working as a rag picker. They don't have any other source of income because they are not educated. They don't have Aadhaar card. They don't have ration card. Fine. And these kids are the kids who actually cannot afford to go to school. Clear? But what they are doing is they are moving from one garbage to another garbage to look for some valuable thing. Next, the writer actually talks about interaction between him and Sahib Alam. The writer says that he encounters Sahib and his friends every day searching for gold from garbage in the neighborhood. Now, what is gold here? Gold here is something which is valuable. Something which is valuable for the kids, something which is valuable for the elders. Once writer asked Sahib that why he is doing rag picking. Sahib replied him back by saying that he has nothing else to do. Fine. So in return, a writer asked him why he don't go to school to study. Fine. So the Sahib, to his question, replied that there is no school nearby where he should go. After having some thought, the author said that if he will open the school, will Sahib join the school? To which Sahib said that definitely if you are going to open up a school here in the neighborhood, he will definitely and his friends will definitely join the school. After some days, when Sahib saw author coming towards him, he suddenly asked him, "What about your school? Have you opened up your school?" Author was embarrassed to answer this because he has not opened up the school. He just gave a statement to open a school just to get some information from Sahib. He actually had no intention to open up a school. And author also said that the promises like this, you will find these promises in every nook and corner of the bleak world of these poor. Author was also surprised to know that the name of the child whom he is talking is actually Sahib Alam, which is Lord of Universe. And this is a big irony because though the name is Lord of Universe, the child is working as a rag picker. He is living the life of poverty. And he was also quite surprised that Sahib actually don't know the meaning of his name. Fine. And author was thinking, what in case Sahib is able to know the name of his meaning? Sahib will not be able to believe it, isn't it? One day, author saw Sahib and his friends roaming around in the neighborhood without wearing any chappals. Fine. An author asked one of Sahib's friend why he's not wearing chappal. To which he replied that my mother has actually kept the shoes on the top of the shelf. That's the reason why he's not wearing it. Listening this, another friend of Sahib who was wearing shoes, he replied that even if mother will give him shoes, he will not wear the shoes. He will throw the shoes away. And there was a third child as well. The third child actually demanded a pair of shoes from the author. The author, who happens to travel across the country, actually has seen a lot of poor people wandering barefoot on streets. He has seen a lot of poverty all around India. And he thought that it may not be the lack of money due to which they are not wearing chappals. It may be their tradition of roaming around barefoot. But further, he wondered that thinking tradition as a reason for wandering barefoot, thinking tradition as a reason for not wearing shoes is actually a lame excuse to explain and justify the perpetual poverty of the people. Now students, we will stop the story here and move to our next section, which is question answers. There are few questions for you, for which you have to write the answers in your notebook. Fine. The first question is, but promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. What promise does the author recall? In what context was it made, and was it fulfilled? Question number 2. Explain. For children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. Question number 3. What is Sahib looking for in the garbage dumps? And where is he and where has he come from? And the last question is, what expectations does the author offer for the children not wearing footwear? So these are the 4 questions for you. You have to answer these questions in your notebook. So students, this is the end of this session. We will move ahead with the story in our next lecture. Till then, bye.